Hey, I'm Nick.
And I'm Allie.
And this is the But Have You Tried Year-End Review Bookshelf. Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
New Year's plans for you?
Oh, man.
Stay at home? Maybe stay up till 10:30 or so?
No, we stay up till midnight.
Oh, congratulations.
I'm not that much of an old lady yet. I feel like usually what we do, we have one of our friends over and we like watch a show that we're all like there's always like Only Murders in the Building or something like that we're all watching together, and then we like pause it before midnight and like have sparkling grape juice or something.
Yep.
And then they're like, okay, we can go to bed. And I'm like, but there's like still 3 more episodes.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what happens every year.
Okay. Yeah, we hang out with our friends Sally and Sarah. Sally, the Queen of Halloween, who's joined us on this podcast. And usually we're like, we're going to watch a movie. And then we don't watch a movie. And then we don't watch a movie. And then it's like 10:30. And we're like, well, it's too late to watch a movie now. So we usually just end up like talking and eating for like 3 hours.
I mean, talking and eating for 3 hours is good.
I know. Yeah, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that's what happens.
But also you could just come in at 10:30 and be like, yeah, like midnight's going to come and we're just still going to be hanging out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I like to watch the ball drop, though.
well, you pause.
You
pause the
and
movie.
you watch the
you
ball
watch
drop,
the ball
you get
drop.
back
You go
into it.
back and you
Okay.
finish.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe that's what'll happen. So we thought for this year, as is our tradition, we would go through and say some of our favorite books, movies, shows, not just of the last couple of weeks, but of the whole year. So we've done a deep dive into the archives of what we've been doing. Now, Allie has made New Year's resolutions to use things like Letterboxd and stuff so that she can keep track of it. She doesn't do it. So
I don't do that.
I'm curious about your process. How did you find these things out? Because you also have been derelict on Storygraph as well. So
yeah, well, I did go back and I updated everything that I remembered
Fully?
and put it on Storygraph.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
That's
I think I finished like one thing this week that I need to put in. But
Okay.
overall, Storygraph in
Yeah.
theory is up to date. For movies, it wasn't too hard. I just like thought back and I was like, what movies did I watch that I liked?
Yeah.
And then I always like ask Caleb, I'm like, what movies did we watch that I like? Like every time we do
Yeah.
a bookshelf, basically, I'm like texting him like, what movies did we
Yeah.
see? Whatever. So then I didn't have too hard of a time coming up with my movies. And then
Okay.
shows, there was like a couple that I was like, yes. But then I did look back a little bit through the like edit history of our
okay.
podcast document. Usually that's what I do when I'm desperate. And that is also how I updated my Storygraph is
Okay.
I went back through our like edit history.
Okay.
And I looked at all the books that I
Okay.
said that I read this year.
There you go.
So
That's not a bad idea.
yeah.
Okay.
It's a little tedious. It would probably just work better
yeah,
to, you know.
just keep track as you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's better.
You even made this little like spreadsheet section
I did.
in our podcast doc for
I
us to
know.
keep track of shows.
But even I stopped keeping track in there. And
Yeah,
I
well,
wish
but
that
I like
hadn't.
really stopped keeping
Yeah.
track in there.
Yeah, I know.
I thought I was keeping
you
track,
had
and then I
good
looked at it and I
intentions.
was like, "Oh,
Nope.
it's been a while. It's
so
been a
much.
while."
That is specifically for TV. So why don't we start there? Give me one of your top shows of the year.
Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
It's Nobody Wants This.
Oh, that was one of the ones I suggest. I think that was in my list last year, and I was like, "You got to watch this." So.
Yeah, you were like mad at me because I started watching an episode and then I like got distracted
Yeah.
and didn't finish it.
Yeah,
But
I
I
don't know if
did
was
finish
mad,
it,
but-
and I watched both seasons that are out as of this recording.
Oh, okay.
And I liked
Well,
them both.
you're ahead of me because we're in a no Netflix zone.
How
at the
the
moment,
tables
so-
have turned.
Right. I do really want to watch it. Although, I mean, you kind of indicated that there's a little bit of like, and we're still doing this. And I don't know.
It's
where you
not too
go.
bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it definitely is like, I don't know if it doesn't feel like a show that they were like always planning to have a bunch of
Right.
seasons.
Right.
But it really didn't feel as like, oh, we're stretching this out and milking it as I
Okay.
was fearing that it would.
I guess it sort of feels like. I mean, do you want You've Got Mail too? Like they got together
Right.
and now they're gonna like have a life. I don't know. I mean, that's
I mean, I could see You've Got Mail too being good because like
that was a bad.
as much as
example,
I'm
but-
attached to like those characters and their relationship and everything, I'm sure that like their first year of marriage, for instance, would be
Yeah.
a wild time and they'd be like squabbling and like
probably.
accidentally
Probably.
starting rival
I mean,
bookstores
I'd be down
again
for
or
it now.
something.
You know what I mean? Do
Yeah.
it right now. Have Fox Books be closing because of online distributors. You know, and then it's a whole reversal sort of
I
thing.
think that would be
Yeah.
cool. But I feel like it kind of makes sense because
really
it's like
undercut my own point.
I understand what you mean.
Okay.
But in terms of Nobody Wants This, I feel like the characters, obviously the main two characters, and then their like associated family and friend groups. I feel like there's so much like strong personalities and like cultural differences and everything that like it makes sense that like there would still be stuff happening. You know,
Yeah.
it wouldn't just be like, oh yeah, like you guys weren't sure if you could make this work and you figured out that you could and now it's like completely fine forever.
Yeah.
And I feel like they mostly avoid the trap of being like, oh, we're just gonna like split up our main couple for no reason.
Right.
Just so we can do the same thing as the first one.
Yep.
So
Yep. Okay. All right, that's a solid one. For me, I'm giving it to, well, it's kind of a tie between Man on the Inside and Bored to Death because they are both series that have Ted Danson solving mysteries.
Okay,
So,
fair enough.
Man on the
Categorized
Inside,
together.
yes, where he goes undercover in like a retirement home to solve a mystery. There is a second season now, which again I have not seen the second season, but I watched the first season this year and really liked it. Bored to Death is a little older, and it is a 3-season show. It's Jason Schwartzman, Zach Galifianakis, and Ted Danson, and they have very different comedic styles, and yet the show manages to meld those really well.
That's pretty impressive, honestly.
And I could keep watching it forever. Like it's probably for the best that there's like a tight 3-season run of this show. But I think it's pretty timeless too. I think it was like 2009 or so when this was coming out, and we have the DVDs here, and I've been watching them. So Justine, who works with us here, kept seeing them in the return bin. So she was like, I should watch this. So Justine picked it up and is watching it and is also loving it. So
Nice.
I think it has a broad appeal. So 1-2 punch of Ted Danson mysteries, and I am anxious to watch the second season of Man on the Inside. Yeah, what about you got a serious one?
I don't know. I guess it
Okay.
depends what you call serious. I mean,
All right.
Stranger Things, I guess that's serious.
Yeah.
That's, I don't know. A new season comes out and I'm here for it.
Are
That's
you
all I
up
can
to
say.
date on Stranger Things?
As of this recording, I am up to date with
Okay.
what is available.
Okay.
But
And
there is still
feeling
more
good?
to come.
Feeling good about the current season?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Well, it's the kind of thing where it's like what I've seen so far, I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, but how they bring it home, that's gonna shape my feelings a lot.
Okay.
So I'm optimistic. I feel like so far most of the seasons haven't like broken my heart too much.
Yeah.
And that's the main thing. I'm like, please just don't break my heart.
Right.
That's what I'm
Don't
asking
people
for.
have to die? I feel like
Some
we
people have to die. Well, and there's a
Okay.
list of people who I'm okay with dying,
Oh,
and there's a list of people who I'm not
Cold.
okay with. Well, I
calculating.
don't want anyone to die, but I'm like, I know some people are gonna die, so
Yeah.
like, here's the people I'll
Okay.
offer up these
Okay.
characters as a sacrifice to
Okay.
protect my most favorite characters. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Not that the Duffer Brothers have like consulted me on this. So
No.
it's meaningless,
But maybe they
but
should.
maybe they
should.
Maybe they should.
Okay, Stranger Things. Yeah, I mean that's another one that I got to go the distance. I got to finish it. You
Yeah.
know, I'm not as enthusiastic. I'm not like I must watch this right now. Like I feel like it's sort of I've waited this long. I'll get to it when
I feel
get
like
to
it's
it.
because you like gaslighted yourself into thinking that the 4th season was the last
That-
season. I think that's the problem.
I put all my emotional energy into season 4, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Whereas for me, that was like the beginning because that was when I started watching Stranger
Oh,
Things. Was
okay.
when the 4th season
All
came
right.
out.
I'm
So
excited because now those kids are older than I am, so it's going to be a different kind of viewing experience.
It really is
So-
a weird time.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
how much they have grown.
All right, so my serious one is The Pit. Did you hear about this at all?
I'm trying to remember if we talked about it
we
or
did.
not.
Yes, we did because it stars Noah Wiley, who was in like
Oh,
The
yes. Okay, okay,
Librarians
okay,
and
okay.
all that. Yeah, it's set in an ER, and it's I don't remember how many episodes it is, but whatever it is, each episode is an hour of one like overnight shift, and so
Ah.
it's one continuous story. You're just watching them over the course of one shift, and it is never gimmicky. It works really well. I think it's very well acted. A lot of the same creative team that made ER, which I absolutely love, but it feels nothing like ER. Like it's a totally different like take on the medical genre. And I love a good medical show, and I feel like it's been a while since we've had something like that. I mean, you could make a case for Grey's Anatomy, but I feel like that's always more of a relationship, interpersonal kind of storytelling than like a true like medical drama in the old school way. So I devoured The Pit, and I'm looking forward to season 2.
Well, nice.
Yeah.
That sounds like a show that I shouldn't watch. Anything with medicine, organs, it's probably a no.
Yeah.
It's probably a no.
I mean, I feel that way too. I mean, I have some trouble with that sort of thing, and I was okay with it. So I think probably you'd be all right. But
Okay.
I don't know.
That's
Don't quote
possible.
me. Don't hold
I
me
don't
to
know.
that. What else you got?
Also, The Good Place.
Ted Danson.
Ted Danson.
He's all
He
over
just-
this list.
He keeps coming up, which we still haven't finished this because I think it went off Netflix, and we're like, look at the discs, and then
Yeah.
we've been watching other stuff and haven't got the
DVDs,
discs.
yeah.
But what we've seen so far, I've had a great time.
Yeah.
Every time we watch an episode, we have to pause at least 3 or 4 times to laugh.
Yeah.
It's like we're like, no, we'll miss something if we just. So we're like pausing it and laughing, and we're like, can you believe this? And
Yeah.
then we'll be like, all right, go ahead.
Back
so,
to it.
and I feel like I don't know if there's another show that I've ever watched that I have to pause to laugh. So,
Yeah, that seems like a good sign.
right.
Yeah. Our mutual friend Sarah Keeler, who just did story time for us and the Nutcracker and all that, she's a huge Cheers fan, as am I, another Ted Danson show that you haven't seen. And she is in Boston right now, and she just sent me a picture of her standing in front of the Cheers bar because like at the time they were just using an exterior, but of course since then it's become like the Cheers bar. So she had to go, and I told her she must bring me a souvenir. So I
Nice.
hope that she does. The last one on my list is called The Righteous Gemstones, and I think only the first season is on disc, but we do have it here, and it follows a horrible family of televangelists who have like a big mega church like corporation, and it's like they are consistently pretty terrible characters, and yet like the show has a lot of heart, and like you sort of I don't know, like you learn lessons along the way that the family never really does, and that's a really delicate balance.
Yeah.
You know, like I watched other shows that are like that, and it's like, well, these are just horrible people.
Sometimes
like,
it's just not fun.
right. And I don't know how, but somehow this managed to be fun, sort of in the same way that Veep with Julia Louis-Dreyfus was, which you've never seen Veep, have you?
I don't think so.
Okay. She's a very like ambitious, overly ambitious vice president, and is just a terrible person, and all the people in her orbit are terrible people, and yet you still kind of root for her, and you still kind of want. And The Righteous Gemstones was the same way. So I watch the whole series. It's not it's one of those like 8 episodes a season kind of series, and I want to say there are 4 seasons, and I watched them all this year, and the 4th season dropped this year. So very funny. Walton Goggins plays a character called Uncle Baby Billy, who was like as a child, he was part of like a Christian musical duo with his sister,
Okay.
but he's still called Baby Billy, even though he's like in his 70s.
Okay.
It's a great performance. So I don't know that this would be your jam, but I really had a good time with it. Anything else on your TV list?
That's all I've got for TV.
Okay. I should note that we have been showing our son The Office, which I haven't really rewatched since, like I watched it as it happened, and then once many years ago we kind of went through the series on DVD, but it's been a good long while, and we've been watching it with him, and he is so invested in all the characters and like Jim and Pam, what's going to happen, all that stuff.
Nice. That's fun.
And I still think you should watch The Office.
I'll get around
so.
to it eventually, I'm
Will
sure.
ya? 'Cause
I've
it's
seen
been
select
a good
episodes.
20 years. So.
And a good 20 years that I've been
Yeah.
alive.
Well-
Is that what you're saying?
I mean, basically The Office is that old, so yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Enough. Like, I definitely have some knowledge of, like, things that develop in the show. And
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
But then I'm also like, I don't know. Too much media, too little time.
Yeah, it's true. Well, my son was like, this makes it seem like it's this big, goofy show, but it's actually like very complex with the characters and what they're doing. And I'm like, yeah, I can't argue. So we're in season 5 right now, which we're basically fully at the halfway point. So
Nice.
we got plenty of track ahead of us.
That's
So,
good.
Yeah,
That's
but I'm having a
Don't
good
want to
time
attend
with
too
that.
soon.
Let's talk about books.
Okay.
You got any nonfiction on your
Books.
list?
No.
Well, I guess I'm just more erudite than you. You know, I'm just
Clearly.
yeah. Okay, well, hit me with
Did
something.
I read
then.
nonfiction this year? I feel like I did. I know I at least read, this is not one of my picks, but I know I
Okay.
at least read the book Atomic Habits.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard of it. No one warned me that it starts with an anecdote of the like narrator, the author, getting hit in the head with a baseball bat.
Ooh.
And like having like serious
Okay.
like brain
Sure.
skull
Yeah,
injuries.
Yeah.
And so like I just like I'm listening to the audiobook and I'm like la 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 and it's just like instantly just like all of it and I was like I wasn't prepared.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that did not make my list, but I know that I have
Okay.
read at least that in terms
Okay.
of nonfiction.
I read a book called Hurricane Girl 2 years ago or something, and it starts with this woman having a traumatic brain injury.
Oh my gosh.
And then the rest of the book, she is basically an unreliable narrator because you
Ah.
don't know, like, is this really happening? Is this actually a good
Right.
decision? Should she actually trust that person? It was a very good read. It was a very good read.
Stressful,
Anyway,
intense.
go on.
Anyway,
Yes, please.
The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman.
Yeah.
That made my list.
Yeah.
I started the first one, I don't know, I want to say late summer. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Made my way to the second, and I feel like now I'm just like every time I finish one, I just like put a hold on the next. I'm just
Yeah.
kicking them back.
I've read the first 2 chapters of the first book, and I keep meaning to get back to it, and I keep having other things where I'm like, oh, darn, I have to read this. And it gets pushed in first position. But I do
understand
intend to
that.
read it.
I
'cause
think you would like it.
Yeah,
I understand the like getting kicked out of the line thing.
I
very
liked what
much,
I
but-
read. I'm going to hit you with a couple of nonfictions, so this is just going to hold one place. But I read Sunny Boy by Al Pacino. I read, is it called Sunshine Girl? Something like that, by Juliana Margulies, which she was on ER, speaking of
Okay.
ER. And these were just both very good autobiographies. I liked them a lot. And then I read Ron Chernow's book on Grant, Ulysses S. Grant, which was
Yes.
quite a commitment.
An undertaking.
Yes, but I liked it a lot, and I felt like it was written in a very approachable kind of way. So I would recommend all three of those. And I'm currently reading his Mark Twain,
Okay.
Ron Chernow's Ron Twain.
These are like
Mark Twain.
big chunker tomes, right?
They are big, yeah. Like I think the audiobook was like 42 hours or something like that. It was crazy.
That's a lot.
So yeah, and I keep with the Mark Twain one. I've been doing it mostly on Libby, and so like my hold will lapse, and then I'll go weeks without reading it, and then I'm like, okay, I was on chapter 17, and then I dive right back into it. So yeah, it's good, but I particularly liked the Grant one. Yeah.
Nice.
What else you got on your book list?
Well, my chonker for the list, The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson.
Oh, that is
See,
a chonker.
I feel like you give me a hard time for being nerdy for reading these 48-hour, fiction books, but you're over here reading 48-hour nonfiction. So
yeah,
I think it's clear who the real nerd in this room is.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
Does that make me I think maybe I'm a nerd and you're a dork. I think
that's possible.
I think
I'm willing to consider that
I'm
possibility.
not sure. It depends. It depends on the topic, but there's a nuance.
Yeah, I obviously I read some Brandon Sanderson last year and at the beginning of this year, Mistborn stuff that I really enjoyed, and
we did a whole episode on it.
Did we?
Yeah, because you made me read the first. I can't remember what it's called, but
no, you read that for a book club. I didn't make you do that. I mean,
no, you did.
I strongly recommended that you do it.
No, we did that for an episode.
I'm convinced that you're lying.
Okay.
I thought you did it for a book club with your friends.
Well, I did both.
Oh.
But I'm pretty sure we did an episode.
Did we?
I don't
know. I guess we'll have to look at the archive and find out.
I will look.
Anyway, I really enjoyed the smaller, lighter Brandon Sanderson that I read. And my brother Wes is like a huge Brandon Sanderson fan, and he's like, yeah, Stormlight Archive is the best.
Okay.
And I'm like, but that's just like several weeks worth of book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just massive. And I'm usually not a big book fantasy fan because usually big book fantasies are just not that well written, and I can't stomach it.
Okay.
I know I'm laying down some controversial opinions
here.
But it's just like I feel like a lot of stuff like that, it's like it just feels like it needed some more editing. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
And often the prose isn't the main focus. It's like the plot is the main focus. And I'm very much a prose character kind of person rather than a plot kind of person.
Yeah.
So that's like a deal breaker for me.
Okay.
But The Way of Kings had good prose and good characters. And I've started making my way into the rest of the series. And I'm enjoying it.
Okay.
And it takes me a long time, but that's okay.
I've
think
accepted it. Maybe you're right that we did not do a Brandon Sanderson episode.
I'm pretty sure.
I just read it for a book club. That's it.
I think that's I think that's
I mean,
it.
I did. With my brother and my two pals.
Well, and I think we
did
like.
read that.
I think we talked about it maybe in like a bookshelf when you were reading it.
Okay. All right. Well, I've learned something even today about our podcast. Okay. Let me see. What else would I like to tell you about? Well, we've talked about this before, but Calamity of Souls by David Baldacci. I've never been a David Baldacci fan. We have done some for the Library Book Club because he's so popular, and I'm like, I don't like this. I'm not into this at all. And he wrote one that was sort of historical fiction, and it was kind of it felt to me like a mix of like a John Grisham and a To Kill a Mockingbird kind of mashup. And I thought it was really good. And I was like, do I like David Baldacci? And I didn't know about it. But he writes, like the King and Maxwell series and the Amos Decker series and stuff. I just don't like those. And this was a standalone historical fiction again. And I liked that, and I have not found anything else by him that I like. So it's making the list, but it's a surprise to all involved.
This is a special request. David Baldacci, write more books like that.
Yes, exactly. There is one that we did do an episode on that I have to give a shout out to because it was probably the most impactful book that I read this year. Any guesses? Animal Farm.
Oh my gosh.
I think about that book all the time. Pretty much every time I look at the news, I think about Animal Farm. So.
I try not to think about it, but I do anyway.
Yeah, things happen, and I'm like, right, like an Animal Farm. Oh, God.
Oh, we've reached that chapter already.
Animal Farm by George Orwell.
Farm.
Making my list. You got more books?
The last one I have is The Rival by Emma Lord, which was it's the Emma Lord book that came out this year, basically. And it's a college setting, which she has some that are more high schooly and some that are more collegey. And I think the collegey ones are like usually the ones I like best. I don't know why. I mean, college is just a fun setting. You know what I mean?
I had a good time.
Dynamic.
I enjoyed college.
I enjoyed college. It was a good time. I think that's maybe why.
Yep.
But it's basically like two academic rivals who have known each other and been frenemies for like their entire lives.
Yeah.
Their families are best friends and everything.
Yeah.
And, kind of that like rivals to lovers sort of dynamic, and just like goofy
Yeah.
and fun in college. So
Okay.
good time.
That sounds
I
fun.
never read an Emma Lord book and don't have a good time.
Yeah.
So
What year did you graduate college?
21.
Okay, so you're coming up on your 5th
Yeah.
thing. Does that feel weird?
It does feel weird.
Yeah.
Well, the moment when I realized, like, oh, I've been out of college as long as I was in college, I
Yeah.
was like, that doesn't feel right.
Yeah, that's weird. Well,
So-
2025 was my 20th
Wow.
college. Yeah, we didn't do anything. I just talked to my friends. I didn't
I
go
mean,
to any
yeah, that's
reunions
fair.
or anything. But it is wild to think like 20 years, and like my core group of friends from college is still kind of like in my upper circle, and I feel like
That's nice. That's really cool.
Yeah, it pleases me.
You got other books?
Yeah, I did not stick to our rule of 3. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I just
man,
couldn't
you're-
decide. I'm sorry.
You're going crazy
I'm
over
breaking
here.
all the rules. So there's 2 more. One is How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix, which that was a book club we did. I was the only one who liked it, and I felt like its take on generational trauma using evil Christian puppets really worked for me.
That was the
So,
one that like everyone else didn't like, but you liked,
hated
right?
it. Nobody in the
That's so
literally nobody in the book club liked it, and I was like, "This is great." My wife also read it, didn't like it, so who knows? Finally, A Death in Denmark by Amelia Malati, and this was set in Copenhagen, and it just follows a detective. It had shades of Robert Parker, whom I love, who we did an episode on. I think that's true.
That is
Right?
true. I can
Okay.
confirm.
Yes. So I really like that, and I see that the sequel just came in. It's on the new bookshelf, so I'm gonna have to check it out.
I do kind of want to read that one. It's in my tentative.
Death in Denmark.
list
Yeah.
in my head of books
I think
that
you would
wanna
like
read.
it. I feel like it fits in. He's a cool main character, and like his relationships are also kind of unique, and yeah, I think you dig it. I do.
Sounds good.
All right, movies.
Movies.
Let's do it.
All right. I think my top movie, although it's hard to say because there's some
Yeah.
good ones. Fantastic Four. Which
Yeah.
I expected to not care about and
I
not like.
fully expected to not care about. Yeah,
And I think maybe that's part of why I liked it so much,
Yeah.
but I do also think it was actually that good.
I think it was too. I think people like really were sleeping on it because nobody
Yeah.
cares about the MCU anymore, and
Yeah,
I
well.
think that.
But like, I feel like the story was good,
Yep.
the characters, the acting was really good, the aesthetics with like the retro future kind of thing.
Yeah.
I loved that. Like that was so cool.
Well, yeah, and I think that's. I mean, I have been saying this for years. My wife can tell you that that's true. I've been saying if they're going to do a Fantastic Four, I wish that they would do a time period Fantastic
Yeah.
Four, like put it in something like that, because the ones from the early aughts just really don't work, and there's just something about the dynamic of the Fantastic Four that just feels very much of the 1960s.
Yeah.
You know,
It does really feel right.
I don't know why, and I don't think I've ever successfully read, like, all of my favorite Fantastic Four stories are ones that are kind of like this, that are set in this retro kind of world.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I'm sort of sad that it's going to get pulled into the mainstream MCU because I like it so much.
Yeah.
But I agree. It's also on my list. I do think it was the best superhero movie of the year.
Yeah. Well, the
Definitely.
other thing is I feel like Reed Richards is like a really fine line. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's so easy to hate him.
Yeah.
And I feel like they did a good job of having him be compelling and a character that you like and like interacting with the
Yeah.
other characters in a way that's like,
Yeah.
a person and not just like completely a mean-spirited, horrible,
Yeah.
whatever. But like also like his flaws are there and you can like see them and it's like, yeah, dude, like you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But you're not just like, I want to punch you in the face, go away.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
impressive.
Well, it's sort of like the character Charles Xavier in the X-Men world, where it's like that character almost works better as a villain. You know,
Mhm.
like it's the same with Reed. It's like you can kind of like just turn
Yeah.
the knobs a little bit, and you got a pretty good villain. So, what else? What else came out? It was Thunderbolts, Captain America: Brave New World, and Superman.
Thunderbolts is also on my
Right.
list.
Thunderbolts.
I did really
it
like
is.
that.
Oh, it's on your list.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I did not put it on my list, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. The thing that I was kind of drawing the line on was I would watch Fantastic Four again right now. I don't really have the desire to rewatch the Thunderbolts.
I feel like Thunderbolts is a little heavy.
It is. Yeah.
So do
It
you think
earns
that's
it.
why, or is it just like,
I think that Thunderbolts is so mired in like the dregs of the MCU
yeah,
that
that's
it's kind of hard to. It's not as approachable as Fantastic Four, and like you have to bring so much to the Thunderbolts to make it work. Whereas I
Mhm.
think Fantastic Four, you just like sit down and
You
have
just
a
go
good
in.
time.
Because it's kind of truly its own thing.
Yeah. And I mean, I
For
enjoyed
now.
Captain America Brave New World as well. But
Yeah.
that's another one that I'm not like,
Yeah,
Same
no,
with
I had a
Superman.
good time with
I don't
that,
know. I
but
just,
I thought about Superman, but I was like, no, I feel like Fantastic Four and Thunderbolts
yeah,
were a little higher for me.
I agree.
I mean, Thunderbolts is basically the Yelena Belova movie, and like
Yeah,
I love that.
I
so
know. She's great. She's
can't
great.
argue with Florence Pugh.
All right, so we just blew through two of
Yeah,
your
what
top movies.
what
Okay.
have you got?
I wanted to mention some classics. This is like special mention, but I watched It's a Wonderful Life with Jimmy Stewart, and I watched Modern Times with Charlie Chaplin, both for the first time, and I thought they were great. I just think they
Nice.
fully deserve their status as classics.
I love it when that happens.
Totally holds up. Yeah. Really liked that. So Fantastic Four was on my list. The one that we just recently talked about, Austin Butler, Zoe Kravitz, the one called Caught, and Matt Smith also,
Yeah.
called Caught Stealing, makes the list too, because it was just I feel like they don't make that kind of movie anymore.
Yeah,
And it really worked for me.
I
So,
do really want to see that.
Yeah. Okay. What else you got on your movies?
I also have recently released Wake Up Dead Man, the third Knives Out
Knives
movie.
Out, sure. Yeah.
Oh man, they keep making them, and they keep being good. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like sooner or later they're gonna have to like degrade in quality.
Yeah.
But so far, I think Glass Onion wasn't quite as good as the first one. But I think Wake Up Dead Man maybe was.
Okay.
So I had a great time.
Yeah, I do want to see this.
Yeah, it's really good.
But I think, what Rian Johnson is doing with those two is really pulling on, like, the 70s was sort of the height of, like, the one-off detective, like you have, whatever, McCloud, Columbo, Quincy, like you have all these characters. And I think that is really following the format of those things that worked so well. But also he's doing it in, like, a fresh and interesting way.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think it's so effective to be like, Benoit Blanc is the same and he's there.
right.
But everything else is different. And so I feel like that really keeps it from getting stale because it is fresh every time.
Yeah.
And I mean, his character is so fun that you're
Yeah.
not going to get tired of that. And seeing him in different situations,
Yeah.
I think is interesting.
Yeah, well, that's the success of something like Columbo, where it's like the movie, because those were really more like movie length. The movie is about the murder and the murderer. It's not really about Columbo.
Right.
And Columbo doesn't come into those. Sometimes it's a half hour before you even see him.
Yeah.
You're really like establishing the characters that this is going to be about, and then you throw in Columbo. And I feel like it's a little bit the same with
Yeah.
Blanc. In
Well,
these
it's like
movies.
every time it's like he's the consistent character, but he's not the main
Right,
character.
Right. And I think that's the thing that makes those movies work so well.
Yeah.
Like you get the right amount of that character.
Yes. Well, and I feel like the characterization and stuff that they always do is really good. The like main character in this one I find really fascinating and compelling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
All in all,
Here we are
big
praising
fan.
Rian Johnson, and I don't even think it's worth mentioning how terrible I think the Last Jedi is. I don't think we should even. I don't think we should even bring it up. You know what I mean? I think just leave it right out of the conversation.
Oh man.
I want to mention Karate Kid Legends.
Okay.
Going back to another episode.
It's been mentioned.
You still haven't seen it, right?
No.
I think you'd enjoy it.
Okay.
I liked that because it was just kind of like what we were saying about the Fantastic Four, that you can just like sit down and just like enjoy it and have fun. Like I just felt like that movie was like the epitome of a movie that understands the assignment and is just a feel-good popcorn kind of movie.
Fair enough.
No harm, no foul. I just really enjoyed that movie. Yeah.
I wish there were more. I know we've talked about this before. I wish there were more just like one-off good fun
Yeah,
movies now.
I know.
It feels like a lot of stuff is
Yeah.
like it's just a previous franchise rebaked, or it's just
Yeah.
like the next thing
Yeah.
in a franchise, and I'm just like, can we just
I know.
wasn't there a time where you could just like have a one-off
Yeah.
spy movie and it was a
Called
good
the
time?
90s.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was there. I recommend it.
I barely was.
Yeah, you made it. Yeah,
A
you did
few
make
months.
it. And
My
it's
few
funny
months
to
in the
look
90s.
at like the things that even still, like even today, like we're still holding up as like these are the greatest movies of all time, are movies that would never even be considered today.
Yeah.
Because they were more niche. They were more like, we're just going to do this thing. And now it's just like, we need that Disney money. We
Yeah.
need those Disney dollars.
Yeah. Feels
So.
like money is ruining everything.
Special mention too to the movie Friendship with Paul Rudd and Tim Robinson.
Man, Paul
Very
Rudd,
cool,
he just
interesting
keeps
movie.
going.
Yeah, he does.
He's always there.
He does. What does that leave us then with? Just general life things. What about
General
music?
like music.
You like
We still got
any
music.
music that you're into?
Yes, well, Man's Best Friend, which I assigned to you.
That's right.
I'm curious to hear what you think
That's
about
right.
it. But I listened to this just kind of like because I saw that it had come out, and
Yeah.
I was hearing clips of some of the songs like online and videos and like whatever in stores,
Yeah.
whatever. And I was like, maybe I should actually like listen to this instead of just like hearing random
Little bits
chunks.
here and there, yeah.
And I listened to it and I was like, wait, I think I like this. And now I'm a Sabrina Carpenter fan. And the rest is history.
Okay. One that surprised me was it's Brandi Carlile and Elton John. It's a collaborative album called Who Believes in Angels Anyway. And I don't really know Brandi Carlile that much, and I really only know Elton John's like 70s hits. And I don't know, something about the mashup was just like really working for me. It's kind of a bop, but also musically it does really interesting things. So I've been enjoying that.
Nice.
Yeah.
That sounds
Anything
fun.
else for albums?
I also have Rockin' the Suburbs by Ben Folds.
Hey, look at all these episode callbacks. I love
I
it.
know. It's almost like we planned it, but I don't think we did. I didn't plan it. I don't know
No.
if you planned your
I
aspects of this,
no,
but I
did
didn't.
Not.
So
I did not. Yeah, that's exciting. I found one. It was Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys. His last album was just a piano. He doesn't even sing on it. It's just called At My Piano, and he's just like, it's sort of melancholy in a way, but also upbeat, which I guess it rings true of most Brian Wilson work. But he's just playing piano of like some of his biggest hits, and it's just one that I keep going back to if I'm reading or doing something else where I don't want distractions. It's just been kind of a go-to album, and I've really enjoyed it.
nice.
Yeah.
That sounds lovely.
I also got Olivia Rodrigo's Live in Glastonbury on vinyl, and it's a very cool album.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yep.
I like Olivia Rodrigo.
Yeah, me too.
I also have I Said I Love You First by Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco,
Oh,
which came out this year.
collaborative album. Look at that.
Collaborative album. And well,
Yeah.
they're married now, so I mean,
Oh,
it's all coming
cutes.
together.
Cutesies. You and Caleb gonna drop an album together?
I'll think about
Does
it.
Caleb
I'll think about
sing?
it.
Is
Yeah.
he musical?
Yeah.
Okay.
He sings, and he has played piano. He doesn't very often
Okay.
anymore. I don't also very often anymore. I'm so
Okay.
busy with my stringed instruments. But,
Yeah, it happens.
you know, yeah, this album came out, and I was kind of intrigued by the concept of, like, whatever, Selena Gomez and her fiance dropping an album
Yeah.
together. So,
Yeah.
and I used to listen to some of her music, like, way back in the day when I was, like, a little teeny bopper.
Mm-hmm.
And I listened to it and I was really surprised. It has some fun kind of like bops, but it also has some sort of like moody, ponderous stuff that I thought was really cool.
Okay.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I had a good time with it.
Okay. What about just real life things
Real life
that happened to
things.
you in the year 2025?
Well, I went to Montreal and stood in front of the
Yes,
caretaker Quebec
that's
headquarters.
right.
So that
I
was,
remember
you
that.
know, that was pretty
Yeah.
peak.
Okay.
How about you?
Yeah, we had a trip. We went down to North Carolina. It was for my wife's. It was a milestone birthday for her, so we went down, saw our friends. We went to a concert that was a triple header of Fastball, Bare Naked Ladies, and Guster, and it was just a great show. I didn't really know Fastball stuff. Like there was a couple of like radio hits that I was vaguely familiar with, so I was listening to some of their music, and I love Guster. That was one we went to a concert a couple years ago, and I went in totally blind and left being like, I am a fan of this band. And Bare Naked Ladies, I really only knew the hits as well, and so my son has become a huge fan, so he's always wanting to listen to them. So I'm hearing a lot more Bare Naked Ladies, and I'm finding a lot of stuff that I really like with that too. So that whole trip, you know, it was super fun. We made some stops. We did an overnight in West Virginia and explored a little bit because neither Hillary nor I had been to that state before. So we were like, where are we going that we could kind of cross something off the list? So
Yeah.
Overall, just a fun and successful trip. What about video games? Do you play any fun video games?
I haven't done a lot of video games this year, and it's mostly
Okay.
just been the usuals, you know, Stardew,
Yeah.
Minecraft,
Yeah.
that sort of situation.
Okay.
How about you?
Oh, this was my year of the borrowed Wii U, as you
Right.
recall. So I got that specifically because I got Yoshi's Woolly World at a yard sale for 25 cents. And I loved Yoshi's Woolly World. It was 100% worth it. And then I played several of the Lego games that came with that because the dual screen made that really fun. And I played Paper Mario Color Splash. That was the one I had to do like a marathon to finish it before I had to give it back. And it was super fun. And I started playing one of the older Paper Mario games because it's like an RPG, and I'd just never played any of those before. And I liked it. So now I got to like dip into that world.
I think it's fun how this was just like 25-cent game that you picked up and it became
Yeah.
like an entire side quest.
It really did.
Like,
Yeah, 100%. The RPG style, right?
Yeah, it's
I
true.
found it,
It's
and I'm like,
true.
now you must find a machine capable of playing. So, that's
Oh,
what
I did start a new D&D game, by which I mean I started playing, and I'm not DMing this one,
Okay,
thankfully,
you're just in it.
with
In
some
it to
local
win it.
friends.
Okay.
Yeah, which has been nice. I haven't played a regular in-person D&D game since college, I want to
Okay.
say. It's just been like whatever, one-shots here and there or
Right.
online stuff. And I'm terrible at focusing on like I'm terrible at focusing on one thing for 3 hours.
Okay.
And so, like, especially when it's online and it's like, whatever, people are like,
Yeah.
you know, the delay and everything.
Yeah.
That's really hard. So it's a lot easier when it's in person and I can, like, wriggle around in my chair and, like, do my knitting and,
Yeah.
like, whatever.
That makes sense.
So that's been fun.
That makes sense. The other big milestone of 2025, my little brother got married.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. So the wedding went great. They're living their happy newlywed life and all good. So congrats to Steven Spencer.
Congrats.
Yeah. Woo! I think that's it.
All right.
Anything you're looking forward to in 2026? Anything that you're going to like? I don't want to say New Year's resolutions because neither one of us has been good about those. But
I sometimes have been good with New Year's resolutions.
Okay.
One of my resolutions from last year was to practice sign more often. I
Oh.
specifically said 5 days out of every 7, which I did until
That's a
about
lot.
July.
Okay.
So, you know, not
yeah,
bad.
no, that's,
But I am still meeting regularly with my sign club, so I'm
That's good.
still calling that a win.
that's good. Yeah, definitely.
I don't know. I want to get outside more in 2026.
Okay.
I guess.
Okay.
Finish writing books that I'm writing, that kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always working on healthy habits, you know,
Yeah.
trying to do more of that. Eat better, exercise, like, yeah, get outside.
We all need
You know,
that.
these are like classic things that everybody should do and nobody does. I do drink a lot of water, so I'm already ahead there.
Yeah, that's
you know what I
pretty
mean?
good.
Most people are
That's
like, I gotta
pretty good.
drink more water. Not me, not this guy. Small things,
Just Aquaman
baby
over
steps.
here.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Do you think Aquaman drinks water? Probably not seawater. That'd be weird.
I mean, I think if you are a creature of the sea, you're obligated to drink
You
seawater.
just drink it.
It's
as
just
you
like,
go.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's like, have you ever seen the movie Aquamarine? It's like
No.
this
I know what it is.
teen
I haven't seen it.
mermaid
I've
movie.
seen Aquaman.
And she's like on a date with this guy and she starts putting salt in her water because she's a mermaid and
Sure.
whatever.
Sure.
And he's like, oh, is that good? And she's like, yeah, it's the best. And he's like, okay, I'll try some. So she's like salting his water and then he's drinking it and he's like, whatever, retching and
Yeah.
finding it disgusting. And she's just like, this is how
This
we
is
drink
great.
water.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. Well, on that note, I think we'll wrap our New Year's recap here. I have to listen to more Sabrina Carpenter. I have begun. I was specifically listening to her Christmas album, actually, because it was the
Oh.
Christmas season. So I listened to that a little bit to kick things off, but I have my copies of the albums I'm supposed to listen to, and I will embrace them.
I'm
and
curious
that will be
to
our...
hear what you think.
Yeah. Well, you'll find out in
I'll
2
find-
weeks.
I'll find out in 2 weeks.
Okay. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.